Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? I am Michelle Trevino from Michelledtvrudyraizdetejocote. So today's topic is why I am constantly talking about lowering your carb intake, okay? Why I talk about it a lot. And I am also going to give you 7 tips to help you control your carb addiction, okay? It is an addiction, carbs, okay? We are especially in our culture, we are so used to eating so much processed foods, snacks that are really high in sugar, that are really, processed foods that are packaged, that come in and they're not good for our bodies. They're worse than, honestly, it is an addiction. I call it an addiction because studies have shown that if they give a rat the option to choose between cocaine and sugar, the rat is going to choose the sugar, okay? When we consume something that has sugar or carbs, immediately we release endorphins, okay? Our brain releases endorphins and it makes us feel good. It makes us feel happy, especially, I can tell you, I have a sweet tooth. I'm always talking about it. And I can tell you that I'm one of those that you eat something sweet and it's like, qué rico, so good. So you are releasing endorphins every time you consume something like that. But there is a lot of effects that come with it, and I will talk about that in a minute, okay? I know that there is a lot of hype that goes on along with our product of people saying, well, so-and-so didn't diet, and people claim that you don't have to diet, you don't have to make any changes, you don't have to exercise to lose the weight. And I'm here to tell you that that is correct. There are a lot of people who don't need to make any kind of change and they have incredible results. But I'm also here to tell you that once you start plateauing, or if you get back on the product and you say, you know what, it's not working for me anymore, okay, or there's people that it doesn't work for, then there's something else that we need to make changes in, okay? And I find it that most of the times that this has happened, it's because they are already somebody who consumes an excessive amount of carbs. That is super true. The carbs, it's not only if you have like a sweet tooth, right? It could also be if, oh no, well, I don't crave sweets, I'm not a sweet person. But if you crave stuff like salty, like chips, things like that, then it's also a carb, okay? That turns into a sugar, it decomposes into a sugar in our bodies, and that turns into fat, and it turns into more and more issues, okay? So that's the reason I want to talk about it, because our society, our culture is super accustomed, and that's things that we want, and that's the reason why we want it, because our bodies become addicted and dependent on the sugar, okay? And with that comes a lot of illnesses, okay? First, you can develop insulin resistance. From there, it can become into diabetes, high blood pressure. You can develop high cholesterol, heart disease, obesity, of course, liver disease, tooth decay, and cancer. Cancer cells definitely will flourish in a body who is super, constantly eating sugars, constantly eating things that are not good for our body. So I'm here to kind of help you, because there are a lot of people who have told me, but I'm like super addicted to it. I can't, like, I'm so used to eating all these foods, every meal I eat the rice and the beans and I'll eat this and that. We need to start trying to make small changes. I'm not saying eliminate them, like the good carbs, the complex carbs. Of course, our body does need them. I'm saying just to try and help you cut back on the refined, like the processed foods, okay? That's my goal, to help you do that. Hi, Maria, how are you? Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. The people who do make the changes, okay? Especially like people who plateau, who stop losing the weight, that's when I start talking about diets. Okay, tell me a little bit about your diet. What are you eating? What are this and that? And usually they don't want to talk about it. That's my experience, okay, with my clients. They don't really want to talk about it. They already know, well, yeah, my diet's not great. Okay, well, then it's time to start making some changes. Why? Because with anything, our bodies get used to it, okay? With the root as well, our bodies do tend to get used to it. So what do we have to do? We have to make changes. We have to modify things that we're already doing and implement small changes. Small changes, especially like close to the end of the day, when we tend to snack the most at nighttime. I can say that I was definitely one of those people that love to snack on sweets, little pastries, things like that at the end of the day, because at the end of the day is my only downtime when I get to, when my kids are asleep, finally I get to watch some TV, relax and stuff like that. So that was my time, and I felt like it was a reward. Like I'm telling you, it is definitely considered one of the worst drugs that there is. Why? Because it's so easily accessible, right? So I decided to, it's definitely something that I need to work on. We have to work on, as if we want to continue to lose the weight, it is something we have to work on to try to cut back, okay? Or if you are a person who has had a really hard time losing the weight, even with taking the treatment, then there is an issue. There might be an issue of your diet being just way too rich in carbs, and that's when I do this recommendation. As soon as I start talking about, tell me about your meals, tell me about how you're talking, people kind of shy away, and that's why I was like, okay, well, maybe this video is not going to be very popular, because most of my videos, when I talk about diets and things like that, people don't like it. We don't like change. We don't like to be moved out of our comfort zone. Sugar brings comfort to us, okay? Carbs, they bring comfort to us, and that's something that we need to learn how to help ourselves push and get rid of it, okay? Get rid of that addiction. It is an addiction, and I definitely was there. I have a sweet tooth, like I have told you before. I definitely struggle with that, so I know what it is. I definitely know what it is, and that's why I decided, you know what, let me do some research, let me help my clients and see how we can start making small changes. So if you have seen in my Facebook page, I have weekly posts of little recipes, small videos that I make, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. Well, I'll make a small recipe. I'm about all fast, easy, and quick, okay? So if I go on and I make a recipe, it's not something that's going to take me forever. It's going to be something that I do really on the quicks, and it is something that you can implement instead. Okay, I already went ahead and I already gave you one of the tips of the 7 that I'm going to give you. But we can definitely kick our curb, okay, by trying these strategies. And the first one was tip number 1 was kind of weird to me, because I was also like, when I read it and I read about it, I was like, what am I reading? That this is crazy. Tip number 1, it says, when you get a craving, let's say it's late at night, right? And you're just like looking through your pantry and you're like, oh my God, I want cookie, or I want something sweet, I want ice cream. They recommend to grab some green beans. Okay, you're probably gonna be like, what the heck is wrong with you? I don't want green beans, I want something sweet. Okay, even though you don't like maybe green beans, we can just try, because this has been proven to help a lot of people get over their sugar addictions, okay? The best way is fresh. So they do recommend to have them already prepared. Boil them, right? You have to boil the fresh ones, and then keep them in your refrigerator for when you get an urge, you heat some up really quick and you eat that. Why does this help you? Because it has a phytochemical that immediately will stop your your sugar craving, okay? The green beans, they have a phytochemical that immediately, if they say immediately, like right away, it will stop your craving. So fresh is best. And then they recommend frozen. And of course, at the end, if you don't have those, canned green beans will definitely do, okay? And then tip number 2, okay, that was tip number 1. You're probably gonna be like, that's crazy, that's insane. Well, let's try it. Let's try it and see, okay? Tip number 2, it says, eat something sour. There are tests that they have been done that when you are craving something sweet, like a little pastry, something, chocolate, whatever, they recommend to eat something sour. For example, lemon with water, or some apple cider with water. Apple cider is super sour. It's like, ugh, and then you have to chug it down with something else because it's but it has a lot of health benefits, okay? And that will definitely get rid of your sugar cravings on the spot. They also recommend, if you're a person that gets a craving like after every single meal that you want something sweet, they recommend that you put lemon on your meals, okay? Like, let's say if you're gonna have some meat or some beef or some chicken or whatever, put lemon on it. Or if you go out to eat, put some lemon on it, order some extra lemons, put lime on it, lemon on it, and you won't have the cravings afterwards, okay? That's something else that they recommend. They also recommend, tip number 3, use banana leaf supplement, okay? It's kind of sounds like banana, but it's banaba, okay? Banana leaf supplements. And what this does with time, they say it's not as immediate as a green bean type of result that you'll get, but with time, maybe within a few weeks of using it, you will notice that you don't crave the sugar as much, okay? It is a natural supplement. Tip number 4, have alternative healthier options. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that if you haven't liked my Facebook page, I recommend that you like it. I do go live about once a week, and I do bring you healthy options, alternatives to desserts, because I naturally have a sweet tooth. Not just desserts, a bunch of different alternatives to eating the stuff that we normally like, but in a healthier version, okay? So if you haven't liked my Facebook page, please go by. It's under Michelle and Rudy RaizdeTejocote, South Texas, okay? Tip number 5, use a multivitamin. If you didn't know, a lot of the times when we crave a certain thing is because we are low in a vitamin or mineral, okay? Studies show that just like when pregnant women, you know how they crave real weird or strange things or like combinations of things, it's because since they have a child inside, you know, their bodies are low on a certain vitamin or mineral. So they do recommend to drink a multivitamin, and some that is like whole, that contains all the vitamins and minerals, and that will definitely help you with your cravings. They do say that, you know, have substitutes. I forgot, let me go back real quick. With the substitutes one, also they recommend that if you're craving chocolate, to consume a little piece of dark chocolate. It's a little bit more bitter, but you will get away with, you know, you are eating the chocolate, but a smaller portion of it. And it is, you know, it's still considered a carb, actually, the dark chocolate, but it is a healthier alternative to milk chocolate, pretty much. Tip number 6, they recommend that if you are getting a craving, to drink a green tea, black tea, or cinnamon tea. There's a lot of sweet spices, well, not sweet, they call them sweet spices that help with that. They meet that same satisfaction that sugar does, okay? So these are drinks that you can make, and they satisfy that need and that kind of feeling that you have when you are craving something like that. And our last tip for today is tip number 7, to go for a walk, okay? They say that even if it is not a long walk, maybe just 10 minutes, get out of the space where you're at, walk around your house, maybe go outside, water the yard, I don't know, do something, just get out, move out of that area where you're at. And that usually does the trick, you know, to get your mind off of things. Most of the time, our cravings are definitely emotionally induced. I can say that, like I've talked about it before, when we are happy, when we are emotional eating, you know, that is something that definitely happens to a lot of us. And by doing exercise or just walking, moving, we are releasing endorphins as well. So that also helps us with that issue, okay? Or call a friend up. If you're having some kind of emotional breakdown, call somebody that you know you trust to help you, you know, get over that hump. But don't head straight for the cookie jar. Don't head straight for the you know, anything that you might have in the house, ice cream tub or whatever, because by the end of the day, you'll know it, you know, it'll be gone, especially if you're eating it straight from the container. That's something that we all have done. and it's not good for us. And you know, by the time you know it, you've ate way more than you wanted to. Okay, and I hope you guys found these tips useful, and I hope you can implement them. Like I said, I don't believe in eliminating the carbs because our bodies do need them. It is something that we need, but our complex carbs are definitely something that help us, you know, with muscle growth, things like that, so that we can lower our body fat as well. But there are good times, and then there's times where it's definitely, you know, I always say after 4, try to lower your carbs for a reason. Our bodies will not burn them as effective as if you're consuming carbs in the morning. Let's say, for example, you can have your oatmeal in the morning, or at lunchtime, a sweet potato, things like that. Definitely go ahead, do it. But in the afternoons, eat more protein, you know, at least half your plate protein, and then a salad or any kind of vegetables that you like. Don't say, I don't like them. We're all adults. Let's try. We can all try. Comes down to being healthier for our kids, being healthier for ourselves, first of all, and living a healthier lifestyle, keeping off the weight that we have managed to eliminate with the treatments, you know, help it with that, okay, as well. People who, before I'm done, okay, I'm not gonna take away more of your time, but real quick, people who do make small changes while using the root, they take advantage, you know, that they're not so hungry anymore, that they're not as anxious to eat. They make small changes, and by the time they're done, they don't gain the weight back, okay? They don't gain it back. They still manage to continue losing at a rate, you know. Our bodies still reward us for little things like that, okay? I hope you found this video informative, and it helps you, okay? Helps you kind of a little bit eye-opening, you know, when I saw all those things that can affect our bodies, not just because we look at ourselves in the mirror, but internally we do. It's something to open up our eyes and try and make some kind of change, okay? And we will see you guys. Blessings to everybody, and we will see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a blessed weekend. We will see you guys soon. Bye.